Imagine a ship adrift in the void, its hull silent, save for the echo of distorted hymn-sacred songs of the Imperium, twisted into something profane. Their melodies warped as if sung by throats not human. The Light of Martyrdom, once a proud Ecclesiarchy frigate, a floating cathedral radiant with the Emperor's grace, now drifts as a tomb in the shadowed reaches of the Segmentum Obscuris. Its hull, scarred by centuries of cosmic drift, glints faintly under distant starlight, its viewports flickering with an unnatural blue glow that pulses like a dying heartbeat. A distress signal, faint and fractured, pierces the void, reaching the convent of the Order of the Sacred Rose. The signal carries the familiar cadence of Imperial hymns, devotional verses meant to honor the God Emperor, but they're wrong, laced with dissonant harmonics that chill the soul, whispering promises of salvation laced with menace. What secrets does this derelict conceal, buried in its darkened corridors? What price will the Sisters of Battle pay to purge its corruption? You won't believe the horrors that unfolded that day, or the truths the Imperium buried to keep them hidden. Welcome to Secrets Unleashed, where every week we unravel the shadows of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, exposing the grim truths of a galaxy where faith is both shield and shackle. This is the story of Canoness Seraphina, a warrior of the Adepta Sororitas, whose unyielding faith has carried her through countless purges, yet whose heart bears the weight of a past failure that haunts her still. In the grim darkness of 999, M41, she stands on the bridge of her strike cruiser, Throne's Vengeance, her scarred face illuminated by the cold light of the tactical hololith. The Segmentum Obscuris stretches before her, a region where the Emperor's light struggles against the encroaching darkness, where worlds fall to heresy and the warp's tendrils coil unseen. The distress signal from the Light of Martyrdom has reached her convent, and the Ecclesiarchy, ever secretive, has tasked her with a mission: board the derelict, secure its sacred relics, and silence the signal before its secrets reach the wider Imperium. But what lurks aboard that forsaken ship? Why was it abandoned centuries ago, its fate erased from Imperial records? And what force could twist holy hymns into a siren's call of corruption? Seraphina is no stranger to sacrifice. A veteran of the Order of the Sacred Rose, she has faced heretics and demons with bolter and blade, her power armor adorned with purity seals that hum with consecrated energy. Yet beneath her stoic exterior lies a wound that never healed, a hive world lost to chaos under her command, its millions of souls condemned despite her efforts. The guilt drives her, a relentless need for redemption that shapes every decision. Her squad, handpicked for this mission, reflects her resolve. Sister Superior Romana, a fiery zealot whose psychic sensitivity makes her both a weapon and a liability. Sister Hospitaller Livia, a medic whose gentle faith is tested by the horrors they will face, and 10 battle sisters, their white armor gleaming with the roses of their order, each a beacon of devotion in the darkness. The Throne's Vengeance cuts through the void, its engines a low rumble against the silence of space. The Light of Martyrdom looms closer, its silhouette a jagged wound against the stars. Its hull is pocked with ancient battle scars, as if clawed by unseen forces. And its Gothic spires, once proud, now sag like broken bones. The flickering blue light from its viewports pulses rhythmically, a mockery of life. The sisters gather in the assault bay, their hymns rising in a chorus to steal their hearts. Seraphine's voice, steady but tinged with unease, recites the litany of resolve over the vox. In his name, we are the flame that burns the shadow. Her words are meant to inspire, but the distorted hymns from the signal linger in their minds, sowing seeds of doubt. What could corrupt the sacred songs of the Ecclesiarchy? Is this a trap, a lure to draw the faithful into ruin? The assault boats launch, their hulls trembling as they cross the void. The sisters clutch their bolters, their rosaries swaying with the motion. Amara's eyes narrow, her psychic senses already prickling with the warp's presence. This ship is no mere wreck, she murmurs, her voice sharp with conviction. Livia, ever hopeful, whispers a prayer for protection, but her fingers tremble on her rosary. The boats dock with a grinding thud, and the airlocks hiss open, releasing a gust of stale air that carries the scent of rust and something foul of decay preserved, as if time itself has curdled. The sisters step into the Light of Martyrdom, their boots echoing in the cavernous halls. The architecture is imperial, but wrung statues of saints bear extra limbs, their marble faces carved with too many eyes that seem to watch the intruders. Hymnals etched into the walls, meant to glorify the Emperor, are marred by unfamiliar symbols that pulse faintly, as if alive. Seraphina leads the way, her power sword humming softly, its blade inscribed with verses of purification. The corridors stretch endlessly, their lumens flickering with erratic light. Scattered relics litter the floor, rusted bolters, torn prayer scrolls, a shattered Aquila pendant with edges unnaturally smooth, as if melted by an unseen force. The psychic hum grows louder, a low thrum that vibrates in their bones, unsettling even their enhanced senses. Amara pauses at a bulkhead, her hand tightening on her bolter. The corruption is strongest toward the core, she reports, her voice tight with suspicion. Livia's Uspex hums, its readings erratic, picking up faint signatures that oscillate between organic and inorganic. The sisters exchange uneasy glances, their faith unshaken but tested. What abandoned this ship, leaving such relics behind? Is the hum a sign of demonic presence, or something older, something the Imperium fears to name? As they advance, the hum becomes a whisper, not in their ears but in their minds, promises of salvation, of eternity, in voices that mimic the sacred but drip with malice. Seraphine's scar aches, a reminder of her past failure, and she grips her sword tighter, determined to uncover the truth. The Light of Martyrdom is no mere derelict. It's a prison, a vault for secrets the Ecclesiarchy dared not reveal. What horrors await in its depths? What price will Seraphina pay to redeem her soul? And what truths will the Imperium bury to keep its faithful ignorant? This is Secrets Unleashed, and tonight, we descend into the heart of a nightmare, where faith meets terror, and redemption comes at a cost beyond imagining. Join us as we unravel the horrors of Purged by the Light. In the grim darkness of the far future, where faith is both shield and shackle, the Adepta Sororitas sisters of battle stand as the Emperor's holy warriors, clad in gleaming power armor, armed with bolters that roar his divine wrath and hearts burning with unyielding zeal. They are the flame that purges heresy wherever it festers. Across the galaxy, from hive worlds choked with smog to frontier colonies, teetering on the edge of the void, the Sisters of Battle are a symbol of the Imperium's unbreakable resolve. They face cults that worship forbidden gods, demons that claw their way from the warp, and Xenos that defy the Emperor's dominion. Yet what happens when the enemy is not a snarling heretic or a gibbering demon, but a relic, something sacred, meant to embody the very faith they died to protect? What happens when the line between purity and corruption blurs, and the cost of duty becomes an ethical quagmire that threatens to shatter even the strongest soul? This is the story of Canoness Seraphina and her sisters, sent to investigate the Light of Martyrdom, a derelict Ecclesiarchy frigate, broadcasting a cryptic distress signal across the void. It's a tale of redemption sought through sacrifice, of secrets so dangerous the Ecclesiarchy hid them for millennia, and of a truth so horrifying it could unravel the Imperium's fragile foundation. I'm your narrator, peeling back the layers of the Imperium's veiled truths for Secrets Unleashed, where every week we dive into the untold stories of Warhammer 40,000. Our channel is a sanctuary for those who crave the Grimdark, for true crime aficionados and history buffs who seek the human stories behind the galaxy's endless wars. Today, we venture into the Segmentum Obscurus, a region where the Emperor's light flickers weakly, and the shadows hold horrors older than time itself. We'll follow Seraphina and her sisters into a nightmare aboard a ship that was no mere vessel, but a prison for an entity that predates even the Chaos Gods. Why was the Light of Martyrdom abandoned, its fate erased from Imperial records? What corrupted its sacred relics, turning symbols of faith into conduits of terror? And what did the Ecclesiarchy know? What truths did it bury that it dared not speak even to its most loyal warriors? Let's step into the void, where faith meets fear, and uncover the horror of Purged by the Light. The year is 999, M41, a time when the Imperium teeters on the brink of collapse. The 13th Black Crusade looms, and the warp stirs with unprecedented fury. In the Segmentum Obscurus, a region shrouded in mystery and menace, the stars burn cold, and the veil between reality and the immaterium grows thin. Worlds fall to heresy with alarming frequency, their populations seduced by whispers from the void. The Ecclesiarchy, the Imperium's spiritual heart, clings to its authority, preaching unity through faith while guarding secrets that could shatter the fragile loyalty of its flock. It is here, in this crucible of doubt and danger, that the Light of Martyrdom reappears, a ghost from a forgotten era, its distress signals slicing through the static of the astropathic relays. The Light of Martyrdom was once a proud frigate, a floating cathedral dedicated to spreading the Imperial creed, launched in the 38th millennium. It carried sacred relics, bones of saints, chalices said to hold martyrs' tears, blades etched with holy runes to inspire devotion across the stars. Its Gothic spires gleamed with gold, its halls echoed with hymns, and its crew, a mix of Ecclesiarchy priests and naval armsmen, served as missionaries of the Emperor's will. But centuries ago, the ship vanished, its last transmission, a garbled plea for aid. Imperial records were purged, and whispers among the Ecclesiarchy spoke of a mission gone catastrophically wrong. Some claimed the ship fell to piracy, others to a warp storm, but the truth was locked away in the deepest vaults of the Ministorum, accessible only to the highest cardinals. For generations, the Light of Martyrdom was a myth, a cautionary tale told to novices about the perils of straying from the Emperor's path. Now, in the waning days of the 41st millennium, the ship has resurfaced, its distress signal reaching the convent of the Order of the Sacred Rose, on the shrine world of Ophelia VII. The signal is faint, distorted, carrying hymns that should uplift but instead unnerve. The verses are familiar devotional songs of the Ecclesiarchy, but they're laced with dissonant harmonics, as if sung by voices not entirely human. The words twist, promising salvation through surrender, eternity through sacrifice. The Ecclesiarchy, wary of exposing its ancient secrets, dispatches a strike force led by Canoness Seraphina, a warrior whose reputation precedes her. Her mission is clear: board the derelict, secure its relics, silence the signal, and ensure no trace of the ships. Fate reaches the wider Imperium, but the Ecclesiarchy's orders are laced with omissions, hints of a truth too dangerous to reveal. Seraphina stands on the bridge of her strike cruiser, Throne's Vengeance, her scarred face illuminated by the cold light of the tactical hololith. The segmentum obscurus stretches before her, a void where stars seem to dim in fear. At 43, she is a veteran of countless campaigns, her power armor adorned with purity seals and the roses of her order. Her face bears a jagged scar from a heretic's blade, a memento from a battle she won but at great cost. Her eyes, steel gray and unyielding, hide a deeper wound, the loss of Hive-world Carthos, where she held a city against chaos for 7 days, only to watch it burn when reinforcements never came. The guilt of that failure drives her, a relentless need for redemption that shapes every decision. She recites the litany of resolve to her crew, her voice steady but unable to mask the unease creeping into her heart. The distorted hymns from the signal linger, sowing seeds of doubt even in her fortified mind. Her squad is a reflection of her resolve. Sister Superior Almada, her second-in-command, is a psychic prodigy whose zeal borders on fanaticism. Her dark eyes burn with conviction, her bolter always ready to purge the unclean. Amara's sensitivity to the warp makes her both an asset and a liability, her visions often guiding the sisters, but at the cost of her own stability. Sister Hospitalaire Livia, the squad's medic, is a contrast gentle, where Amara is fierce, her faith rooted in hope rather than wrath. Livia's hands, skilled at mending wounds, tremble slightly as she clutches her rosary, her optimism tested by the signal's malevolent undertones. The 10 battle sisters under Seraphine's command are the Order's finest, their white armor gleaming under the assault bays, lumens their voices raised in hymn to drown out the hum that haunts their thoughts. The Throne's Vengeance approaches, the Light of Martyrdom, its silhouette a jagged wound against the stars. The derelict's hull is pocked with ancient battle scars, as if clawed by unseen forces, and its Gothic spires sag like broken bones. The flickering blue light from its viewports pulses rhythmically, a mockery of life. The assault boats launch, their hulls trembling as they cross the void. The sisters clutch their bolters, their rosaries swaying with emotion. Amara's psychic senses flare, detecting a warp-tainted presence that grows stronger with every meter. "This ship is no wreck," she murmurs, her voice sharp with suspicion. Livia whispers a prayer for protection, but her fingers tremble, betraying her unease. The boats dock with a grinding thud, and the airlocks hiss open, releasing a gust of stale air that carries the scent of rust and something fouler decay preserved, as if time has curdled. The sisters step into the Light of Martyrdom, their boots echoing in the cavernous halls. The architecture is imperial, but wrong statues of saints bear extra limbs, their marble faces carved with too many eyes that seem to watch. Hymnals etched into the walls, meant to glorify the emperor, are marred by unfamiliar symbols that pulse, faintly, as if alive. The air is thick with stale incense, undercut by an organic rot that clings to the back of the throat. Scattered relics litter the floor, rusted bolters, torn prayer scrolls, a shattered Aquila pendant with edges unnaturally smooth, as if melted by an unseen force. The psychic hum grows louder, vibrating in their bones, unsettling even their enhanced senses. Seraphina leads the way, her power sword humming softly, its blade inscribed with verses of purification. Amara pauses at a bulkhead, her hand tightening on her bolter. The corruption is strongest toward the core, she reports, her voice tight with suspicion. Livia's Uspex hums, its readings erratic, picking up signatures that oscillate between organic and inorganic. The sisters exchange uneasy glances, their faith unshaken but tested. A whisper not in their ears, but in their minds promises salvation. Eternity, in voices that mimic the sacred, but drip with malice. Seraphine's scar aches, a reminder of her past failure, and she grips her sword tighter, determined to uncover the truth. The Light of Martyrdom is no mere derelict. It's a prison, a vault for secrets the Ecclesiarchy dared not reveal. What horrors await in its depths? What price will Seraphina pay to redeem her soul? And what truths will the Imperium bury to keep its faithful ignorant? This is Secrets Unleashed, and tonight, we descend into a nightmare where faith meets terror, and redemption comes at a cost beyond imagining. Join us as we unravel the horrors of Purged by the Light, a tale of sacrifice, secrecy, and the fragile line between purity and damnation. The Segmentum Obscursus, a vast and foreboding expanse of the galaxy, is a realm where the Emperor's light flickers weakly, its radiance struggling to pierce the oppressive gloom. Shrouded in mystery, this region is a crucible of peril, where stars burn with a cold, indifferent glow, and the warp's influence seeps into reality like poison through a wound. Worlds here teeter on the edge of damnation, their populations vulnerable to the seductive whispers of heresy that echoed from the Immaterium hive cities. Once bastions of Imperial might, crumble under the weight of cult uprisings, while frontier colonies vanish into the void, leaving only silence and questions. The warp, that chaotic realm of raw psychic energy, presses against the thin veil of reality, its tendrils curling around the minds of the unwary. In this shadowed corner of the Imperium, faith is a fragile shield, and even the most devout can falter when faced with horrors that defy comprehension. The Light of Martyrdom was once a beacon of hope in this darkness, an Ecclesiarchy frigate, crafted in the 38th millennium as a floating cathedral to spread the Imperial creed across the Segmentum Obscurus. Its Gothic spires, adorned with golden aquillas, towered over its hull, a testament to the Emperor's divine authority. Its halls echoed with the hymns of zealous priests, their voices rising in devotion to the goddom. The ship carried sacred relics, bones of saints preserved in ornate reliquaries, chalices said to hold the tears of martyrs, blades etched with runes of purification to inspire faith on worlds teetering on the brink of apostasy. Its crew, a mix of Ecclesiarchy, clergy, and naval armsmen, served as missionaries, bringing the Emperor's light to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Yet, centuries ago, the Light of Martyrdom vanished without trace. Its final transmission, a garbled plea for aid that was swiftly suppressed. Imperial records were purged, and the ship's fate became a whispered legend among the inner circles. Some spoke of piracy, others of a warp storm that swallowed the vessel whole. But the truth was locked away in the deepest vaults of the Ministorum, accessible only to the highest cardinals, those who guarded the Imperium's most dangerous secrets. The Adepta Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, are the Emperor's holy warriors, founded to protect the Imperium's faith from those who would defile it. Clad in power armor, forged with sacred alloys, armed with bolters that roar with righteous fury, they are the embodiment of unyielding zeal. The Order of the Sacred Rose, one of the 6 major orders, is renowned for its devotion to purity. Its sisters trained to face horrors that would break lesser souls. They are no strangers to sacrifice, their lives dedicated to purging heresy. With fire and blade, their convents, built on shrine worlds like Ophelia VII, are fortresses of faith, where novices are molded into warriors through grueling trials and relentless prayer. The sisters' hymns, sung in perfect harmony, are said to banish the warp's influence, their voices a bulwark against the darkness. Yet even they, the Emperor's most devoted, are not immune to doubt when faced with an enemy that wears the guise of sanctity. Canoness Seraphina, the leader of this mission, is a figure of legend within the Order of the Sacred Rose. At 43, she is a veteran of countless campaigns, her white power armor adorned with purity seals and the crimson roses of her order. A jagged scar runs across her face, a memento from a heretic's blade during a purge on the hive world of Karthos. For 7 days, she held a city against a chaos incursion, her sisters fighting street by street, Their bolters never silent, but reinforcements never came, and the city fell, its millions of souls condemned to the warp. The guilt of that failure haunts her, a shadow that lingers in her still gray eyes. She seeks redemption through relentless duty, each mission a chance to atone for the lives she could not save. Her resolve is iron, but her heart bears a wound that no prayer can heal. Her second in, Sister Superior Mara, is a psychic prodigy whose zeal borders on fanaticism. Her dark eyes burn with conviction, her bolter always ready to purge the unclean. Amara's sensitivity to the warp makes her a double-edged sword. Her visions guide the sisters through peril, but they come at a cost, leaving her mind vulnerable to the Immaterium's whispers. She sees the world in absolutes, purity or corruption, with no middle ground. Her faith is a blazing fire, but it blinds her to nuance, making her quick to judge those who falter. Sister Hospitaller Livia, the squad's medic, is her gentle soul whose faith is rooted in hope rather than wrath. Livia's hands, skilled at mending wounds, carry a rosary that never leaves her grasp. She clings to the belief that faith can redeem even the darkest taint, a conviction that will be tested in the horrors to come. Together, they lead a squad of 10 battle sisters, each a paragon of devotion, their white armor gleaming under the dim lumens of their strike cruiser in 999.M41. As the Imperium braces for the 13th Black Crusade, a distress signal from the Light of Martyrdom reaches the convent of the Sacred Rose on Ophelia VII. The signal is faint, its astropathic relay distorted, but it carries him sacred verses meant to honor the Emperor that are wrong, laced with dissonant harmonics that chill the soul. The words twist, promising salvation through surrender, eternity through sacrifice, in voices that seem to echo from beyond reality. The Ecclesiarchy, ever wary of exposing its secrets, convenes a clandestine council. The cardinals, their faces hidden behind gilded masks, debate in shadowed chambers, their voices low to avoid the ears of the faithful. The Light of Martyrdom is no mere derelict. It is a relic of a failed experiment, a secret so dangerous it could undermine the authority. They dispatch Seraphine's strike force with strict orders, secure the relics, silence the signal, and ensure no trace of the ship's fate reaches the wider Imperium. The throne's vengeance, Seraphine's strike cruiser, cuts through the void, toward the coordinates of the distress signal. The segmentum obscurus looms around them, its stars dim and foreboding, as if aware of the horror awaiting. On the bridge, Seraphina stands before the tactical hololith, the Light of Martyrdom's silhouette displayed in flickering green light. Its hull is pocked with scars, as if clawed by unseen forces, and its Gothic spires sag like broken bones. The flickering blue light from its viewports pulses rhythmically, a mockery of life. Seraphine's scar aches, a reminder of Carthos, and she grips her power sword, its blade inscribed with verses of purification. She recites the litany of resolve over the Vox. In his name, we are the flame that burns the shadow. Her voice is steady, but the distorted hymns linger in her mind, sowing seeds of doubt even in her fortified heart. The assault bay is a hive of activity as the sisters prepare their boats. Amara checks her bolter, her eyes scanning the squad with a zealot's intensity. This ship is cursed, she murmurs, her psychic senses already prickling with the warp's presence. Livia, clutching her rosary, whispers a prayer for protection, but her fingers tremble, betraying her unease. The 10 battle sisters form ranks, their armor gleaming, their hymns rising in a chorus to drown out the hum that haunts their thoughts. The assault boats launch, their hulls trembling as they cross the void. The Light of Martyrdom looms closer, its silhouette a jagged wound against the stars. The docking clamps engage with a grinding thud, and the airlocks hiss open, releasing a gust of stale air that carries the scent of rust and something foul decay preserved. As if time has curdled, the sisters step into the derelict's cavernous halls, their boots echoing in the silence. The architecture is imperial, but wrong statues of saints bear extra limbs, their marble faces carved with too many eyes that seem to watch. Hymnals etched into the walls, meant to glorify the Emperor, are marred by unfamiliar symbols that pulse, faintly, as if alive. The air is thick with stale incense, undercut by an organic rot that clings to the throat. Scattered relics litter the floor, rusted bolters, torn prayer scrolls, a shattered Aquila pendant with edges unnaturally smooth, as if melted by an unseen force. The psychic hum grows louder, vibrating in their bones, unsettling even their enhanced senses. Amara pauses at a bulkhead, her hand tightening on her bolter. The corruption is strongest toward the core, she reports, her voice tight with suspicion. Livia's auspex hums, its readings erratic, picking up signatures that oscillate between organic and inorganic. A whisper not in their ears, but in their minds, promises salvation. Eternity, in voices that mimic the sacred, but drip with malice. Seraphine's scar aches, and she grips her sword tighter, determined to uncover the truth. The Light of Martyrdom is no mere derelict. It is a prison, a vault for secrets the Ecclesiarchy dared not reveal. What horrors await in its depths? What price will Seraphina pay to redeem her soul? And what truths will the Imperium bury to keep its faithful ignorant? This is no mere salvage. Operation It is a descent into a truth so horrifying it could unravel the Ecclesiarchy's authority, a nightmare that will test the sisters' faith to its breaking point. Join Secrets Unleashed as we unravel the horrors of Purged by the Light. A tale of sacrifice, secrecy, and the fragile line between purity and damnation. The Throne's Vengeance. Canoness Seraphina's strike cruiser slices through the inky void of the segmentum obscurus, its engines a low hymn of defiance against the silence of space. Ahead looms the Light of Martyrdom, a derelict Ecclesiarchy frigate, its hull pocked with scars as if raked by cosmic claws, its viewports flickering with an eerie pale blue light that pulses like a faltering pulse. The ship, once a floating cathedral, radiant with the Emperor's grace, now drifts as a tomb, its Gothic spires sagging like the bones of a forgotten saint. The Sisters of Battle, clad in the white power armor of the Order of the Sacred Rose, gather in the assault bay of their cruiser, their hymns rising in a fervent chorus to steel their hearts against the unknown. Seraphina, her scarred face set with grim resolve, leads the boarding party, her power sword humming softly, its blade inscribed with verses of purification. The distorted hymns of the distress signal's sacred songs twisted into profane in their minds, a sinister prelude to the horrors awaiting them. The assault boats launch, their hulls trembling as they cross the void. The sisters clutch their bolters, rosaries swaying with the motion, their voices united in the litany of resolve. In his name, we are the flame that burns the shadow. The docking clamps engage with a grinding thud, and the airlocks hiss open, releasing a gust of stale air, heavy with the scent of rust, stale incense, and a faint organic decay that clings to the throat like a curse. Seraphina steps into the Light of Martyrdom, her boots echoing in the cavernous halls, followed by 10 battle sisters, with Sister Superior, Amara and Sister Hospitella Livia at her side. The ship's architecture is imperial, but subtly wrong statues of saints line the corridors, their marble forms marred by extra limbs, their eyes carved with too many pupils that seem to glint with silent judgment. Hymnals etched into the walls, meant to praise the Emperor, are defaced with unfamiliar symbols that pulse faintly as if alive, their glow casting shadows that writhe when not observed. Amara's psychic senses flare, a sharp prickling at the edge of her mind, detecting a warp-tainted hum emanating from the ship's core. This place is cursed, she warns, her bolter raised, her dark eyes scanning the shadows with a zealot's intensity. Livia, clutching her rosary, recites a soft prayer for protection. But the hum unsettles even her gentle soul, its vibrations resonating in her bones. The sisters advance cautiously, their lumens casting stark beams across the darkened corridors. They find abandoned relics, scattered like the detritus of a forgotten war. Rusted bolters, their triggers frozen. Torn prayer scrolls, their ink faded to illegibility. Data slates displaying fragmented logs that cut off mid-sentence, as if their users fled in panic. A shattered Aquila pendant lies on the floor, its edges unnaturally smooth, as if melted by an unseen force, rather than broken by violence. Seraphina kneels to examine it, her gloved fingers tracing the anomaly, her scar aching with the memory of her failure. On Hive-world Carthos, the sisters press on, their boots echoing in the oppressive silence, each step a testament to their faith. The corridors twist and turn, a labyrinth that seems to defy the ship's external dimensions. The air grows thicker, the scent of decay intensifying, as if the Light of Martyrdom itself is rotting from within. They reach a sealed reliquary chamber, its massive doors etched with the seals of the Ecclesiarchy, their golden inlays tarnished but intact. Seraphina orders breaching charges set, and the sisters brace for resistance, their bolters trained on the portal. The charges detonate with a muffled roar, and the doors groan open, revealing a vault that should inspire awe. Inside, sacred artifacts rest on plinths, a saint's bone encased in a golden reliquary, a chalice said to have held the tears of a martyr, a blade etched with holy runes that gleam under the sisters' lumens, but the relics are wrong. They emit an unnatural glow, shifting from gold to a sickly green when viewed sidelong, as if mocking the sanctity they once embodied. The saint's bone pulses faintly, like a heartbeat trapped in ivory. The chalice's surface ripples like liquid, defying its solid form. The blade's runes seem to writhe, as if rewriting themselves. Livia steps forward, her auspex humming as she scans the relics. But the readings are incomprehensible, oscillating between organic and inorganic signatures, as if the artifacts are neither holy matter nor wholly alive. "These are sacred," she whispers, her voice trembling with reverence and doubt. But tainted, Amara's eyes blaze with fury, her bolter trained on the reliquary. "Destroy them," she urges, her voice sharp with conviction. "They reek of heresy." But Seraphina hesitates, her mind flashing to Carthos, where her haste to purge a cult led to the city's fall. "We must understand this corruption before we act," she commands, though doubt creeps into her tone, her scar throbbing with the weight of past failures. Against Amara's protests, Seraphina orders the relics examined. Sister Celeste, a young but devout battle sister, steps forward, her gloved hand reaching for the saint's bone. The moment her fingers brush its surface, a psychic backlash erupts, a wave of raw warp energy that slams into the squad. The sisters stagger, their vision blurring as the hum becomes a scream in their minds. A cacophony of voices promising salvation through surrender. The relic's surfaces shimmer, revealing runes that twist and writhe, resembling chaos sigils, but older, more primal, as if carved by hands that predated the Imperium itself. Livia's auspex, sparking from overload, detects microscopic crystalline entities within the relic structures that mimic sacred materials but pulse with warp energy, as if alive. "They're not relics," Livia gasps, her faith warring. With horror there, something else. Amara rounds on Livia, her voice dripping with accusation. "Your hesitation is weakness," she snaps, her psychic senses flaring with the warp's proximity. "You think these abominations can be saved?" Livia clutches her rosary, her eyes pleading. "Faith can redeem anything," she insists, but her words falter under Amara's glare. Seraphina silences them, her voice strained, torn between duty and the doubt that gnaws at her soul. The hum grows louder, the walls seeming to close in, their cymbals pulsing faster, as if the ship itself is awakening to their presence. The sisters seal the reliquary, but the psychic scream lingers, a warning of the terror to come. Guided by the hum, the sisters push toward the ship's core, their path leading through a cavernous chapel that looms like a desecrated shrine. Its vaulted ceiling is adorned with faded frescoes of the Emperor's triumphs, but the faces of his angels are defaced, their eyes replaced with crystalline growths that glint in the dim light. The air here is thick with warp-tainted mist, and the hum is a tangible force, vibrating in their armor. Psychic projections materialize figures clad in tattered Ecclesiarchy robes, their synchronized movements a mockery of Imperial rituals. Their faces are human but distorted, with eyes too large and mouths brimming with jagged teeth that gleam like shards of glass. They chant hymns that echo the distress signal, their voices a chilling parody of devotion. Sister Mira, a veteran of the squad, fires a warning shot, her bolters roar, shattering the silence. The projections attack, their forms flickering as they hurl telekinetic force, sending sisters sprawling. Seraphine's power sword, blessed by the Ecclesiarch himself, cleaves through one, its disruption field banishing the figure to the image. With a wail, but more appear, their numbers swelling, their laughter echoing in the warp, a sound that claws at the sisters' minds. The squad fights with disciplined fury, their bolters roaring, their flamers searing the air, but the projections reform, their fragments skittering like mercury before coalescing into new forms. The chapel becomes a battlefield, the sisters' hymns rising in defiance, their faith their only shield against the relentless assault. Tensions flare within the squad. Amara accuses Livia of heresy for her belief that the relics can be purified, her words cutting like a blade. "Your hope is a crack through which corruption seeps," she snarls, her psychic senses overwhelmed by the warp's proximity. Livia, tears in her eyes, clings to her rosary, insisting that the Emperor's light can redeem even the darkest taint. Seraphina, torn between her duty to lead and the doubt that haunts her, struggles to unify them. The hum amplifies their emotions, sowing discord, turning their sisterhood into a fragile alliance. Sister Celeste collapses, clutching her head as visions of a crystalline entity flood her mind, a being of light and shadow. its form an impossible geometry that promises eternity in exchange for surrender. Her screams echo, a chilling reminder of the enemy they face. Amara, pushing her psychic senses to their limit, uncovers a fragment of the truth. The Light of Martyrdom was no ordinary frigate, it was an Ecclesiarchy experiment, launched during the dark age of technology to contain an ancient entity known as the Ecliptic Choir. The relics were designed as prisons, their sacred materials, meant to bind the entity's essence, a desperate attempt to harness its power for the Imperium. But the experiment failed. The Ecliptic Choir corrupted the crew, turning them into vessels for its will, and the ship was abandoned to prevent its spread. The distress signal was a lure, crafted by the entity to draw new victims to free it from its prison. Amara's revelation raises new questions. Can the relics be purified, or are they irrevocably tainted? How has the Ecliptic Choir survived millennia of imprisonment? The ship awakens, its corridors twisting into surreal, crystalline mazes, their geometries defying logic. The psychic projections evolve into physical horrors, their bodies morphing into angular, crystalline forms, limbs elongating into prismatic claws, faces shifting between rapture and agony, refracting light in impossible ways. The sisters fight desperately, their flamers searing the abominations, but the creatures reform, their fragments coalescing into new, more complex forms, adapting to each assault. The walls pulse with crystalline growths, their surfaces ripple with energy, and the air grows thick, oppressive, as if reality itself is unraveling. Seraphina leads a desperate push to the ship's core, where the primary relic, a massive crystalline skull, pulses with malevolent energy, its surface etched with mathematical patterns that seem to be solving themselves, nearing completion, like a countdown to apocalypse. Livia, driven by her belief in redemption, volunteers to plant a melted charge at the skull's base. As she approaches, the entity's psychic influence invades her mind, offering visions of a perfect Imperium, a utopia free from suffering. She resists, her rosary clutched tight, and plants the charge, her final act a prayer for forgiveness. The detonation shakes the core, weakening the entity, but the skull's pulse intensifies, and Livia's body is consumed by crystalline growths spreading from her chest, her form a tragic statue of faith and failure. Her sacrifice buys them time, but the Ecliptic Choir endures, its will unbroken. Seraphina, haunted by her failure on Carthos, sees her redemption. She invokes the Light of Absolution, a forbidden Ecclesiarchy ritual recorded only in the deepest archives. The ritual requires her to channel her life force through her faith into creating a psychic flame to burn away corruption in both real space and the immaterium. Her squad forms a protective circle around her, their hymns rising in a desperate crescendo as the skull pulses faster, its patterns spiraling toward completion. Seraphine's body glows with holy light, her eyes blazing with divine resolve. But her life drains with each passing second, her scar throbbing as memories of Carthos flood her mind. The ritual engulfs the core, a blinding flame that shatters the skull, its fragments dissolving into dust. The crystalline maze collapses, the ship's corridors reverting to their original form, the hum fading to silence. Seraphina collapses, her body marked by crystalline scars that pulse faintly, her life force nearly extinguished. The surviving sisters carry her to the Thunderhawk, their faces etched with grief and awe. The Light of Martyrdom is left a hollow shell, its corruption purged, but at a cost that weighs heavy on their souls. The questions are answered. The distress signal was the Ecliptic Choir's lure. The relics were tainted by an entity older than chaos, and Seraphine's sacrifice saved the sector from its spread. But the scars remain, a testament to the price of redemption and the secrets the Imperium buries to preserve its faith. In the grim darkness of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where the Imperium's faith is both its greatest strength and its heaviest chain, the human stories of those who fight in the Emperor's name ground the cosmic horror in raw, relatable emotion. The Adepta Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, are not mere warriors. They are women shaped by guilt, doubt, hope, and an unyielding devotion that drives them to face horrors most would flee. Aboard the derelict Light of Martyrdom, Canoness Seraphina, Sister Superior Omara, and Sister Hospitaller Livia embody these struggles, their interactions revealing the ethical dilemmas at the heart of the Imperium. Is it right to hide truths to preserve faith? Does sacrifice justify the secrecy that shrouds the Ecclesiarchy's actions? Their personal narratives woven with guilt, fanaticism, and hope resonate with true crime fans who crave the human cost behind grand tales of horror. making Purged by the Light a story not just of cosmic terror, but of the fragile souls who confront it. Canoness Seraphina is a leader defined by guilt, a towering figure in the Order of the Sacred Rose, whose past failure casts a long shadow over her every decision. At 43, she is a veteran of countless campaigns, her white power armor adorned with crimson roses and purity seals that hum with consecrated energy. A jagged scar runs across her face, a memento from a heretic's blade during the fall of Hive World Karthos, where she held a city against a chaos incursion for 7 grueling days. Her sisters fought street by street, their bolters roaring, their hymns rising above the screams of the dying, but reinforcements never arrived. The city burned, its millions of souls condemned to the warp, and Seraphine's failure to save them became a wound that no prayer could heal. Her steel-gray eyes, often described as unyielding, hide a flicker of self-doubt, a relentless need for redemption that drives her to lead her sisters into the most perilous missions. Aboard the Light of Martyrdom, her hesitation to destroy the corrupted relics, a saint's bone, a chalice, a blade, reflects her fear of repeating past mistakes. On Karthos, her haste to purge a cult led to collateral devastation. And now, faced with artifacts that should be sacred, she pauses, haunted by the possibility of another misstep. Her decision to examine the relics, despite Sister protests, is not weakness, but a desperate attempt to understand the corruption before acting, to ensure her judgment is sound. Yet this caution sows discord, testing her leadership as the psychic hum of the Ecliptic Choir amplifies her doubts. Seraphine's sacrifice in the Light of Absolution is the culmination of her arc, a forbidden Ecclesiarchy ritual that requires her to channel her life force to burn away the entity's corruption. As she stands in the ship's core, the crystalline skull pulsing with malevolent energy, her squad forming a protective circle around her, she glows with holy light, her body trembling as her life drains. The ritual shatters the skull, purging the Ecliptic Choir, but leaves Seraphina collapsed, her body marked by crystalline scars that pulse faintly, a permanent reminder of her burden. These scars symbolize the ethical cost of her duty in a secretive Imperium, where truth is often sacrificed for stability. Her survival is a testament to her faith, but her scars suggest a lingering vulnerability, a question of whether her redemption is complete, or if the entity's influence endures. Seraphine's struggle, guilt warring with duty, grounds the cosmic horror, her human flaws, making her a compelling figure for those who value personal narratives in the grimdark tapestry of Warhammer 40,000. Sister Superior, Armada, Seraphina, second in command, is a zealot whose psychic sensitivity makes her both an asset and a liability. Her fanaticism, a double-edged sword that cuts through heresy but blinds her to nuance. Her dark eyes burn with conviction, her bolter always ready to purge the unclean, her power armor etched with verses of wrath. Amara's psychic talents, rare among the sisters, allow her to sense the warp's presence, but they come at a cost, leaving her mind vulnerable to its whispers. Aboard the Light of Martyrdom, her senses flare with the warp-tainted hum emanating from the ship's core, her immediate declaration that this place is cursed, reflecting her absolute view of the world, purity or corruption, with no middle ground. Her accusations against Sister Livia, whom she believes wavers in faith for hoping to purify the relics, stem from a deep-seated fear of corruption, a paranoia honed by years of witnessing the warp's insidious spread. When Livia insists the relics can be saved, Amara's voice drips with scorn. Your hope is a crack through which corruption seeps. Her words, a blade aimed at Livia's heart. Yet her loyalty to Seraphina holds firm, a tether that keeps her from spiraling into reckless fanaticism. She follows Seraphine's orders, albeit grudgingly, her bolter trained on the shadows, her psychic senses straining to pierce the entity's veil. Amara's warning about other relics, delivered in the aftermath of the mission, reveals a growing skepticism of the Ecclesiarchy's secrets. As the surviving sisters escape the Light of Martyrdom, the purified relics sealed in a consecrated vault, Amara's voice is low but firm. There may be others, hidden across the Imperium. Her psychic vision, glimpsed during the battle, suggests fragments of the Ecliptic Choir may linger in forgotten shrines or derelict vessels, a truth the Ecclesiarchy has buried. This skepticism marks a shift in Amara's character, her fanaticism, tempered by the realization that the Imperium's secrecy may endanger the faith she defends. Her struggle zeal, clashing with doubt, mirrors the Imperium's ethical dilemmas, her human flaws making her a compelling counterpoint to guilt-driven leadership. For true crime fans, Amara's arc offers a glimpse into the psyche of a warrior, whose devotion is both her strength and her blind spot. a narrative of loyalty and suspicion in a galaxy where truth is a rare commodity. Sister Hospitella Livia, the squad's medic, is a beacon of hope in the Grimdark reality. Her faith rooted in redemption rather than wrath, but her optimism is tested by the relic's taint. Her gentle demeanor contrasts with Amara's fire, her hands skilled at mending wounds, her rosary a constant companion. Livia's belief that faith can redeem even the darkest corruption stems from her years tending the wounded, witnessing miracles amidst the carnage of war. Aboard the Light of Martyrdom, her auspex scans of the relics a saint's bone pulsing like a heartbeat, a chalice rippling like liquid reveal incomprehensible readings, organic and inorganic signatures intertwined. Her whisper, "These are sacred, but tainted," is both reverence and horror, her hope clashing with the reality of the warp's influence. When Amara demands the relic's destruction, Livia's plea to purify them, "Faith can redeem anything," earns her scorn, sowing tension that the psychic hum amplifies. Livia's faith is not blind, but it is stubborn, a refusal to accept that the Emperor's light cannot prevail. Livia's sacrifice to weaken the Ecliptic Choir is her ultimate act of devotion, a moment that haunts Seraphina and underscores the human cost of secrecy. In the ship's core, facing the crystalline skull that anchors the entity, Livia volunteers to plant a melter charge, her rosary clutched tight as she resists the skull's psychic promises of a perfect Imperium. The detonation shakes the core, weakening the entity, but Livia's body is consumed by crystalline growths, her form a tragic statue of faith and failure. Her final prayer, a plea for forgiveness, echoes in Seraphine's mind, a reminder of the ethical questions her death raises. Was her hope misguided, a blind faith that led to her doom? Did the Ecclesiarchy's secrecy, hiding the truth of the Ecliptic Choir, doomed her to this fate? Livia's arc hope shattered by reality. With true crime fans, her sacrifice a poignant narrative of devotion and loss in a galaxy where faith is both shield and shackle. The sisters' interactions aboard the Light of Martyrdom reveal the Imperium's ethical dilemmas, their human struggles grounding the cosmic horror in a narrative that captivates those who value personal stories. Seraphine's hesitation to destroy the relics, driven by her guilt over Carthos, clashes with Amara's demand for immediate purge, her fanaticism born of fear. Livia's hope for redemption, her belief in purification, becomes a point of contention, amplifying the tension. As the Ecliptic Choir's hum sows discord, their sisterhood, forged in faith, frays under the weight of these dilemmas. Is it right to hide truths to preserve the Imperium's faith, as the Ecclesiarchy does with the Light of Martyrdom's secrets? Does sacrifice, like Livia's or justify the secrecy that shrouds such missions, or does it perpetuate a cycle of loss? These questions, woven through their interactions, mirror the Imperium's broader struggle to balance faith with truth, duty with morality. Seraphine's crystalline scars, Amara's skepticism, and Livia's tragic sacrifice are not just personal burdens but symbols of the Imperium's ethical quagmire. The Light of Martyrdom's horrors the corrupted relics, the crystalline mazes, the Ecliptic Choir's ancient malevolence are terrifying, but it is the sisters' human struggles that give the story its weight. Their guilt, doubt, and hope make them relatable. Their flaws and triumphs, a narrative thread that true crime fans will find compelling. As Secrets Unleashed peels back the layers of this grim-dark tale, the sisters' story stands as a testament to the cost of faith in a secretive Imperium, a reminder that even in the face of cosmic horror, it is the human heart that bears the heaviest scars. As the Light of Martyrdom crumbles into the void, its wreckage consumed by the silent hunger of the Segmentum Obscurus, the surviving Sisters of Battle cling to the Thunderhawk gunship that carries them away from the derelict's doom. The frigate, once a floating cathedral of the Ecclesiarchy, now reduced to glowing fragments scattering across the stars, leaves behind a legacy of horror and sacrifice. Aboard the Throne's Vengeance, Canoness Seraphina's strike cruiser, the purified relics once corrupted by the ancient entity known as the Ecliptic Choir are sealed within a consecrated vault, their golden casings etched with wards to ensure their taint never resurfaces. Sister Superior Amara, her dark eyes haunted by the ordeal, issues a grim warning to her sisters. These relics are contained, but others may exist, hidden across the Imperium, waiting to awaken. Her words hang heavy in the air, a prophecy of future peril that underscores the fragility of the Imperium's vigilance. Seraphina, the leader who bore the weight of the mission, survives, but her body is marked by crystalline scars that pulse faintly, a testament to her sacrifice in the light of absolution. These scars, glinting under the dim lumens of the cruiser's Medicae Bay, are more than physical. They are a symbol of the ethical cost of her duty. A reminder that even redemption in the Emperor's name leaves wounds that never fully heal. The Ecclesiarchy, ever vigilant in guarding its authority, moves swiftly to suppress the incident. Reports of the Light of Martyrdom are erased from Imperial records. Its existence relegated to whispers among the highest cardinals in their shadowed conclaves on Terra. Data slates are purged, astropathic relays silenced, and the few who know the truths are sworn to secrecy under pain of excommunication. Yet the sisters' ordeal aboard the derelict exposes a deeper, more troubling truth. The Imperium's secrecy, meant to protect its faith, breeds vulnerabilities that threaten its very survival. The Ecliptic Choir's defeat saves the sector from an ancient evil, but the knowledge that tainted relics may still lurk hidden in forgotten shrines, buried in the holds of other derelicts, or even venerated unknowingly in Ecclesiarchy. Cathedrals raises fears of future outbreaks. The Ecclesiarchy's experiment, a desperate attempt during the dark age of technology to contain the Ecliptic Choir within sacred relics, instead unleashed it, questioning the ethics of their secrecy. Was it right to hide such a truth, even to preserve the Imperium's faith? Did the sacrifice of Sister Hospitella Livia, consumed by crystalline growths, and Seraphine's near-death justify the Ecclesiarchy's silence? Or does it perpetuate a cycle of loss that weakens the Imperium from within? The throne's vengeance charts its course back to the convent of the Order of the Sacred Rose on Ophelia 7. Its hull scarred but unbowed, the surviving sisters, their white armor dented and scorched, gather in the cruiser's chapel, their hymns rising in a somber chorus. Their faith, shaken by the horrors of the Light of Martyrdom, remains resolute, forged anew in the crucible of sacrifice. Seraphina, tended by Medicae servitors, lies in a recovery cot, her crystalline scars glinting faintly, a living relic of their victory. Her redemption, won through the light of absolution, comes at a profound cost, her body and soul forever marked by the entity's touch. The scars are a reminder that even in triumph, the Imperium's victories are pyrrhic, leaving wounds that linger in both flesh and spirit. As the sisters return to their convent, they carry the weight of their ordeal, ready to face the next threat, their bolters and prayers ever at the ready. Yet the questions raised by their mission linger, a shadow that follows them into the Emperor's light. The Ecliptic Choir's defeat is a momentary reprieve, a single note in the Imperium's endless war against the darkness. The sector breathes easier, its worlds spared the entity's crystalline corruption, but the threat of other relics looms large. Amara's warning, born of her psychic sensitivity, suggests a network of hidden dangerous artifacts scattered across the galaxy, each a potential prison for fragments of the Ecliptic Choir or similar ancient evils. The Ecclesiarchy's experiment, conceived in the hubris of the dark age of technology, was meant to harness the entity's power, binding it within relics crafted from sacred materials. Instead, it created a Pandora's box, its failure buried. To protect the Imperium's faith, the distress signal that lured the sisters to the Light of Martyrdom was no accident but a calculated act by the Ecliptic Choir, a lure to free itself from its prison. The Ecclesiarchy's decision to hide this truth, to dispatch Seraphine's strike force without revealing the experiment's history, raises ethical questions that echo through the sisters' ordeal. Did the cardinals believe the risk of exposure outweighed the lives of their warriors? Was their secrecy a necessary evil to maintain the Imperium's unity, or a betrayal of the faith they swore to uphold? Seraphine's crystalline scars are a physical manifestation of these dilemmas, a mark of her sacrifice that saved the sector but left her forever changed. In the light of absolution, she channeled her life force to burn away the Ecliptic Choir's corruption, her body glowing with holy light as she stood in the ship's core, the crystalline skull pulsing with malevolent energy. The ritual, forbidden and known only to the Ecclesiarchy's deepest archives, required her to offer everything, her strength, her vitality, her very soul, to the Emperor's cause. Her squad's hymns, rising in a desperate crescendo, shielded her as the skull shattered, its fragments dissolving into dust. But the cost was steep. Seraphina collapsed, her body marred by scars that pulse with a faint, unnatural light, a reminder of her brush with an entity older than chaos itself. These scars are not just a wound, but a symbol of the Imperium's ethical quagmire, where sacrifice is demanded without transparency, and redemption comes at a price that questions the morality of those who demand it. The loss of Sister Livia weighs heavily on the surviving sisters, her sacrifice a poignant reminder of the human cost of secrecy. Livia, with her gentle faith and hope for redemption, believed the relics could be purified. Her rosary a constant companion as she tended the wounded. In the ship's core, she volunteered to plant a melted charge to weaken the Ecliptic Choir, resisting the skull's psychic promises of a perfect Imperium. Her final act, planting the charge as crystalline growths consumed her body, was a prayer for forgiveness, a plea that echoes in Seraphine's heart. Livia's death raises questions about the ethics of blind faith. Was her hope misguided? A vulnerability exploited by the entity? Did the Ecclesiarchy's secrecy, withholding the truth of the relic's corruption, doom her to this fate? Her sacrifice, like Seraphine's, saved lives, but it underscores the Imperium's reliance on its warriors' devotion without offering them the full truth. A betrayal cloaked in the guise of duty. The sisters return to Ophelia. The seventh is a somber affair. Their thunderhawk, descending through the shrine world's clouded skies to the convents of spires. The convent, a fortress of faith carved from obsidian and marble, is a sanctuary where the sisters will heal and prepare for their next mission. Their hymns, sung in the chapel's vaulted halls, are tinged with grief but resolute, a testament to their enduring faith. Amara, her skepticism of the Ecclesiarchy's secrets, now quiet fire in her heart, takes her place among the sisters, her bolter ever ready. Her warning about other relics lingers, a call to vigilance that the Imperium may ignore at its peril. Seraphina, recovering under the care of medicae servitors, gazes out at the convent's rose gardens, her crystalline scars catching the light. Her redemption, won through sacrifice, is a fragile victory, her scars a question mark over her future. Will they remain a mark of her faith, or become a conduit for corruption? The answer lies in the void, where other derelicts drift, their secrets waiting to be uncovered. The Light of Martyrdom's destruction is a victory, but it exposes the Imperium's vulnerabilities. Its secrecy, a double-edged sword that protects faith but invites disaster. The Ecclesiarchy's experiment, meant to contain an ancient evil, instead unleashed it, a failure buried to preserve the Imperium's unity. The sisters' ordeal reveals the cost of this secrecy. Their sacrifices, a currency spent without full knowledge of the stakes. For true crime fans, this narrative resonates with the human cost of hidden truths, the ethical dilemmas of those who serve a greater cause. The Ecliptic Choir's defeat saves the sector, but the fear of other relics hidden waiting a shadow over the Imperium's future. The sisters, their faith shaken but unbroken, stand ready, their bolters and prayers a bulwark against the darkness. Yet the questions remain. What other secrets does the Ecclesiarchy hide? What price will the Imperium pay for its silence? This is Secrets Unleashed, peeling back the layers of Warhammer 40,000's grimdark truths, where faith and sacrifice are the only shields against a galaxy of horrors. The Light of Martyrdom is gone, its shattered remnants scattered across the void of the Segmentum Obscurus, consumed by the silent hunger of the stars. Once a proud Ecclesiarchy frigate, a floating cathedral radiant with the Emperor's grace, it now exists only as a memory, a scar on the Imperium's soul, buried by the iron will of those who guard its secrets. The Adepta Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, have purged its corruption, their sacrifice ensuring the Ecliptic Choir's ancient malevolence no longer threatens the sector. Yet the cost lingers in their hearts and flesh. Canoness Seraphine's crystalline scars pulsed faintly, a mark of her redemption. Sister Superiora Omares, warning of other hidden relics, echoes with grim prophecy, and the absence of Sister Hospella, Livia, consumed by the entity's crystalline growths, weighs heavy on their sisterhood. The Imperium's records are cleansed, the Light of Martyrdom erased as if it never was. But in the vast, uncharted reaches of the galaxy, other derelicts drift, their signals whispering of horrors yet to be faced, their secrets poised to unravel the faithful. What other relics lie hidden, masquerading as sacred artifacts in forgotten shrines or venerated cathedrals, waiting to corrupt those who revere them? What ancient evils, like the Ecliptic Choir, lurk within the Imperium's vaults, their existence concealed by the Ecclesiarchy's shrouded decrees? Will Seraphine's scars, etched into her flesh by the light of absolution, become her undoing, a creeping corruption that betrays her hard-won redemption, or will they forge her into a stronger warrior, a living testament to the Emperor's enduring light? These questions linger, unanswered, a shadow cast across the sisters' victory. The Adepta Sororitas stand vigilant, their bolters and hymns ever ready. But the Imperium's secrets, guarded with zeal, but born of hubris, threaten to unravel the very reality they defend. The Light of Martyrdom was but one chapter in a saga of hidden truths, a warning that the galaxy's darkness holds more than heretics and demons. It harbors truths the Imperium dares not face. This is Secrets Unleashed, your weekly descent into the shadows of Warhammer 40,000, where we peel back the layers of the Imperium's grimdark tapestry to expose the human stories, ethical dilemmas, and cosmic horrors that define it. Our channel, a haven for true crime aficionados and history buffs, thrives on narratives like Purged by the Light, where the sisters' struggles, guilt, doubt, hope ground the terror of the Ecliptic Choir in relatable emotion. Every Monday, we bring you tales of sacrifice and secrecy, crafted for the lore for sleep format, designed to immerse you in the Imperium's darkest corners as you drift into dreams or nightmares. The Light of Martyrdom's destruction is not the end but a prelude, a spark that ignites new questions about the Imperium's fragility and the cost of its faith, as the throne's vengeance carries the surviving sisters back to their convent. On Ophelia the 7th, the shrine world spires, piercing the clouded skies. A new signal reaches their astropathic relays. Faint and distorted, it originates from a forge world in the sector's fringes, a planet of smoke and steel where manufacturers churn out weapons for the Imperium's wars. The signal carries an echo of the Light of Martyrdom's hymns, a chilling hint that the Ecliptic Choir's influence may not be fully vanquished. Reports from the Forge World speak of tainted or shipments, their metal laced with crystalline veins that hum with unnatural energy. Factories produce blades that sing when unsheathed, their edges impossibly sharp, their wielders driven to madness. The sisters, their wounds still fresh, prepare for their next mission, their hymns rising in defiance of the void's whispers. Seraphina, her crystalline scars glinting under the convent's lumens, grips her power sword, her resolve hardened by her ordeal. Amara, her skepticism of the Ecclesiarchy's secrets now a quiet fire, checks her bolter, her psychic senses attuned to the new threat. The convent's chapel echoes with their prayers, a fortress of faith against the galaxy's relentless darkness. Join us next week on Secrets Unleashed as we track this signal to a forge world teetering on the edge of heresy, its manufacturums corrupted by the same ancient evil that haunted the Light of Martyrdom. Will the sisters uncover another fragment of the Ecliptic Choir? Or is this a new horror, born of the Imperium's forgotten experiments? What secrets will the Ecclesiarchy bury to protect its authority, and at what cost to its warriors? Our next tale promises a descent into a world of clanging steel and flickering forges, where faith is tested by machines that whisper of damnation. Subscribe to ensure you don't miss this grimdark journey, and join our community of over 500,000 viewers who crave the Imperium's untold stories. Click the bell icon to be notified every Monday when we unleash a new chapter of Warhammer 40,000's shadows, crafted to captivate and unsettle. Your engagement fuels our mission to expose the Imperium's secrets. Like this video to honor the sisters' sacrifice, share it with fellow fans of the Grimdark, and drop a comment below. What secrets do you think the Imperium hides? Do you believe Seraphina's scars will strengthen her faith or lead her to ruin? Are there other relics, like those aboard the Light of Martyrdom, waiting to awaken across the galaxy? Your thoughts shape our next tales, guiding us deeper into the void. For those who want more, check out our playlist of past lore for sleep videos. From the Grey Knight's purge of a demon world to the Inquisitor's hunt for a rogue site, each a tapestry of human struggle and cosmic terror. Support Secrets Unleashed on Patreon for exclusive behind-the-scenes content, including lore discussions and script drafts, helping us craft these immersive narratives every week. The Light of Martyrdom's story is a reminder that the Imperium's faith, while its greatest shield, is also its heaviest burden. The Sisters of Battle, their bolters and hymns of bulwark against the darkness, carry the weight of secrets they cannot share, sacrifices they cannot undo. Seraphina's scars, Amara's warning, and Livia's loss are not just their burdens, but the Imperium's a reflection of a galaxy where truth is a luxury and faith a double-edged sword. As other derelicts drift in the void, their signals a siren call to the unwary. The Adepta Sororitas stand ready, their vigilance eternal, but their hearts scarred. What horrors await the next to answer such a call? What truths will the Imperium bury to keep its faithful in line? Until next week, keep your faith sharp, your bolter loaded, and beware the whispers in the void. This is Secrets Unleashed, signing off from the grim darkness of the far future, where only the faithful endure, even they may falter.